another edition of the Wonderberry Podcast.
I'm
And I'm
Brian,
Dave.
and you can find us online at wonderberry.com.
You can find me online at Open Darkwing.
And you can find me accepting applications for a Wonderberry intern.
Like we record enough anymore to even justify an intern.
Well, I think if we had an intern to keep us on track.
Oh, man. Well, to be fair, it didn't happen because we were lazy. It happened because of very valid medical reasons. So
It happened because we don't have a shirtless, tanned intern with six-pack abs. No, wait, I'm thinking of a pool boy.
yes,
Shit.
I was trying to figure out where
one
you
of
were
those
going
too.
with this one.
Because I need one of those too.
What do we want to pool? Oh yeah, you would need a pool boy, don't you?
I need a pool boy. Specifically, I think Christy needs a pool boy. That's okay. She can have one.
Oh, I need a yard person because I got to go out and weed whack the front yard still.
Yeah.
I cannot wait until the kids start school again. Get them out of
I can't wait
freaking
until
hair.
the kids are 20 and out of my fucking house.
You've only got one to worry about, though. I have 4 of these little fuckers.
Yeah.
It's definitely an entire different ball game with 4 of them.
I imagine. Well, at least they can like help each other with some stuff and
Theoretically, sure.
theoretically, yeah.
I mean, there's the theory behind it. You know, as like I like to say a lot, is there's the way things should be, and then there's the way things are.
Yeah. Well, you can be like, "Hey, Josh, watch the little one while I run to the store."
Yes, I can do that. That is true.
Yeah. I can't do that. I gotta be like, Bug, bundle up. We gotta go get bread.
Yeah, it's definitely a different. It's another level of nice when you don't have to worry about it. I mean, I still ask, like, I'm not being the oldest, especially like older than all of my cousins. I was always directed to do all the stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to figure out now how I can make them not feel that same level of go fuck yourself that I felt when I was their age.
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to break cycles, not continue them. So I always tell the kids, if at any time you guys don't feel like it, you can tell me to go fuck off and not watch the kid.
Yeah.
But the nice thing is that the youngest one is, 8, going to be 9 in October. So they're not exactly like rough to hang out with or annoying to hang out with. Sometimes I'm sure they can be, but she's very much self-reliant in a lot of ways. So
yeah, but it's not like they're gonna be changing poopy diapers.
Yeah, it's not like that, or it's not like they're just extremely needy for everything. She just wants to do everything herself now. I mean, it's
at this point it's like make sure she's playing video games and not trying to juggle knives.
Well, at this point I don't even care if she's juggling knives as long as she's not stabbing herself with it. It's like, if the house catches on fire, make sure the kid gets out, type of a thing.
Yeah,
though
Josh,
if something ever happened,
she's juggling knives, make sure she watches a couple of YouTube instructionals first, okay? We have that. It's 2023. We have that capability now, all right?
Oh, man. These kids these
I actually
days.
have some knives we could juggle. I have some safety
Oh, do
knives.
you?
Yeah. I have some throwing knives
Are
too.
they
In case
balanced like clubs?
they're what? Balanced like clubs. They're balanced. I don't know what
Okay,
like clubs
so
means.
juggling clubs have a different balance to them. So they're kind of one side
Okay.
heavy so that it rotates on its axis. It's instead of it rotating down through the middle, it rotates on the larger end.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So they are
Yeah.
balanced. So that's
Okay.
what I mean by balanced like clubs for juggling.
Okay. Yeah. No. Yeah. Lopsided, I guess I would have called it. I can't juggle, but they were only like $8 or something. And I was like, well, that'd just be neat to have around.
Yeah.
Because I know some people, and I'm like, we occasionally have have people over, and I was like, sometime somebody's gonna be over and be like, well, I could juggle, and I'll be like, oh yeah, well, how about you juggle these?
Right.
I, I walk in the shop and grab that bag and bring those out, and then everybody just be like, what in the fuck is happening right now? One of those
Yep.
deals. So
Well, I upgraded some space in my computer.
did you?
Yeah, so my C drive, when I built my computer, I had bought because I was like, all right, I'm just gonna have, my Windows drive and then I'll install everything else everywhere else, right?
Is that why you put the plexiglass on the side of your computers so you can see drives?
Except that the drives are installed on the side that doesn't have the plexiglass. I swear to God,
Why would you do that?
I swear, because it's the way my case is. I have a looker case. Not to be confused with a hooker case or a case of the hookers. But so I had bought like a 500 gigabyte boot drive, Windows drive type thing. I was like, this will be fine. Nothing's gonna need, I'm installing my games over here and all this stuff. Well, as I start doing more and more, and I have, other programs that Microsoft did this weird thing where they changed up the installers. So not everything runs off of MSI installers anymore. There's like a new one, and it doesn't let you specify where to install something anymore. And it's not all
Hmm.
programs, but a lot of programs are going through this. And pretty much anything that you install from the Microsoft Store as well. So it requires
Yeah.
the C drive. And then the Xbox app requires games to be installed in the C drive now.
What? Why?
Same reason. That way they can. I don't know. I don't know why, or what the whole process is, other than it's for the same reason when you have an Xbox console, you can't install stuff onto a secondary drive. It's a lot more parity to run Xbox games in Windows. I don't know. I don't know the whole reason. I don't understand all the reasons. There's some very technical good reasons why I've been reassured by people who know way more than I do about these things. But all that being said, I was very quickly running out of my 500 gigabytes that I had. Well, very quickly, I crossed over 300 gigabytes and uninstalled my C drive. It panicked.
Yeah.
So I've known that I was going to have to face this problem at some point soon for 7 months, 8 months. So I've been keeping an eye here more recently on hard drives, and Best Buy was having a deal on the Samsung NVMe's. So I got a 2 terabyte drive and cloned my drive over, and everything works perfectly. And then I went from an SSD to another NVMe drive for my games drive. So that's faster and more fluid now. And then my old 500 gigabyte NVMe drive, I bought a PCIe NVMe card. slap that on there, and I'm using that as initial recording and video editing cache drive. So I have like 500 gigabytes dedicated to cache for Resolve and other programs that require it. Which sounds like it's overkill, and it probably is. But some of these projects, man, they can get up there before you render everything down. Well, you know how it goes, even with wave sound versus anything compressed.
Yeah, it goes real fast, doesn't it?
It goes insanely. Well, I was, talking to you right before we started saying I was reinstalling Flight Simulator, and I've got 350 gigabytes of data just in one game.
Yeah.
So, it goes really quick, which is now making me start to think, okay, as I start doing more video stuff, I need to come up with some sort of long-term storage solution for this shit. And I'm not 100% sure which direction I'm going to go with on that yet.
Crap. So, are they gonna like start to force? Crap. I'm not even sure how to ask this question. Are they gonna? Is it gonna end up forcing other? Is it gonna like force Steam?
No. Steam installs where it wants to, or wherever you set it to.
Okay.
No. It's specifically the Xbox app while installing games that are like, I have the Xbox Play Pass for PC. So it's specifically only for those games.
So as long as I just don't buy anything on that, then I'll be okay.
No, you should be fine.
Cool.
So I've been looking at millennial discs for long-term storage, which is really weird that I'm looking at technology that came out in 2009 for this.
Mm-hmm.
But so M discs are write once optical discs. So normally in an optical disc, when you burn something to a disc, it uses light and other stuff to kind of burn it in, but it can degrade over time because, it's just the way that those discs are.
Mm-hmm.
The M discs, they're in different sizes. There's ranging from the DVD-Rs to BDXLs. They, instead of it running into, it still uses the optical to burn, but instead of doing it by changing, like discoloring the dyes for the data, it is a carbon material. So there is no oxidation or anything else that can run off. They're considered 1,000-year discs is what they're pretty much like. So they're a little bit thicker. They're kind of awesome. And the BDXLs will hold up to 100 gigabytes per disc, which I'm not sure if it's going to be any less pricey than other solutions, but I don't know. It'll be interesting.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like long-term storage solutions for optical system. Wonder how much the BDXL discs cost. That'll be the big one. Because if they're too expensive, then it's not going to be worth it at all.
Do you think it's cheaper to have your own storage rather than paying for having other storage? Like having remote cloud storage?
It's not cheaper in the short term for like Amazon's glacial storage or doing some sort of glacial stuff, right? It's
Yeah.
having it available to me or my descendants no matter what. So in the long term, depending on if my kids want it or if they even give a shit about it, being able to pass down something without them having to worry about paying for it would be a really good idea. I like that idea. I don't
Yeah.
mind cloud storage solutions for stuff, but if I ever wanted to go back and grab it, it's pulling stuff out of Amazon Glacier takes a while, and it's not exactly the easiest way of doing it. Not to mention how fucking slow it is to pull it.
Yeah.
If I needed to pull an archive back for whatever reason and it ends up being a terabyte, it could be a couple weeks before I get it.
Yeah.
And being able to have something on hand that I can go back to, whether it's optical or there's some really good data tape solutions now, which also sounds really weird in today's era to talk about data tape solutions. But there's a couple of companies that are doing
It's
data tape solutions for long-term storage that are just pretty freaking phenomenal.
still a high quality
Oh
solution.
no, it very much, especially for something that's for archival stuff.
Yeah.
But I guess I think I end up if for pictures that I take, I've got a raw image plus whatever else. So that takes up more space than your typical would. Video is just insanely big, and I haven't even gotten a halfway decent camera yet that has all the chonky boy stuff in it. You start doing raw video at 6K or 8K, and you're talking about dozens of terabytes per shoot type of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's one of those things where I'm just like trying to think ahead and trying to plan ahead of what I want to do.
Yeah.
So for archival side of stuff, I mean, I'm not to that point just yet, but I could only imagine like how much space our shit takes. I mean, we don't do like what we used to do with uploading everything, but it can get kind of
Yeah.
chunky.
I'm going to start going through and um, kind of just creating like an archive file of each episode and then uploading that. Probably just into a folder to the website or something.
So I've
I don't know
done
yet.
less than 10 flight sim videos, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I've done 7 flight sim videos.
Mm-hmm.
On my archive, so all the footage that I pulled those videos from, because I want to keep the original footage as well still, just in case I need to reuse it or want to reuse it. I don't have it only on YouTube, is 300 gigs
Mm-hmm.
for 7 videos.
Okay, I'm bringing up the Wonderberry folder. Wonderberry from February 15th to current. 41.9 gigs.
It starts lifting up and it starts getting big faster than you think it will. It gets that point where it's like, oh shit.
There's at least one episode that you did, so that I don't have that in there.
I think I've got it somewhere. I should have it somewhere. Do you remember what the date on that was?
Nope.
Yeah, I don't remember what it was either.
Yeah, it's okay. I'll go through and figure it out.
Yeah, it's space is one of those things where I'm like, I don't mind utilizing cloud storage solutions, but at some point things get so much that the cost starts to bend heavily in the opposite direction. And so I'm trying to figure out, do I want to just head that off ahead of time, or do I want to go with this for now? And then when I make that choice, I spend a week just pulling data. I mean, thankfully I'm not capped, so it's not like I'm going to, run out of cap space or anything, but
yeah.
ooh. It gets crazy.
Yep.
LTO tapes. Let's see. Quantum LTO. Let's look at this. So the drives aren't that expensive for the LTO Ultranum 8 cartridges. So if you want to compress it, you can get 30 terabytes compressed, 12 terabytes uncompressed for $60 a drive.
Huh. Well, that ain't bad.
Or I should say $60 a cartridge. Then you need a drive to fucking fuck with that. And the drives aren't, well, if you do, how much these tape drives are actually. Oh, here we go. That's a 7 tape drive. Half hype tabletop is 4,500. For LTO 9s, it's 4,600 for a single drive. So there's the cost. The cost is in the drives. But yeah, I mean, that's not a terrible idea for a solution. Especially when you got about 60 $60 for 30 terabytes compressed.
Yeah, that's not bad.
That's not terrible. And I'm sure you could probably find a
Yeah.
used drive somewhere for cheaper than new ones, but
Yeah.
yeah, if you even at 12 terabytes for uncompressed, so you can pull on and off of them if you need to, then it's not, I mean, $60 for 12 terabytes still isn't that bad compared to drives, which fail a lot harder. Then I
Yeah.
can just build some sort of a humidor, or not a humidor, but something to keep it cool and moisture free as much as possible. But it's
I could build you a humidor. I've got some cedar. And um what else do I got? I've got cedar, and actually I've got some hydraulic. I got some, not hydraulic. I got some hydro something controls. I don't remember what they're actually
But
called.
before then, I'll probably, because I have this NAS, I'll probably just buy 5 hard drives and max out my NAS and sit on that for a while before I decide what to do.
Okay.
It's a 5-drive NAS that I have right now. Excuse me. And a lot of them, like, I just have a bunch of 1 terabyte drives thrown in it, so it's not that big of a NAS pool at the moment. But I believe my QNAP can handle up to 12 or 14 terabyte drives per bay. So I can get, and if I end up doing that, like once I end up upgrading everything up to whatever the close to the max is, then I'm gonna do double parity. So it's gonna be like half. So I'm gonna run parity in drives so that if one fails, I don't lose everything. I can just swap that drive out and rebuild the drives and build parity within it, everything, and that'll actually be halfway decent.
Nice. You know what I need? I might need you to come up and help me do some diagnostics on my laptop,
Yeah.
because I tried to play a video game earlier and I had a blue screen with a video TDR error.
TDR error.
Yeah. Something video TDR. I don't know.
When does Bug go back to school?
Like 2 weeks.
All right. Cool.
First day is the 21st.
Ah, same day that I go back to school,
Oh boy.
which I passed my Photoshop and my Illustrator class
Nice.
with spinning colors. My next classes should be okay. They're more local, so I actually got to go into campus finally. But it's going to be photography and video and sound.
Hmm.
So, yeah. That should be interesting.
Yeah.
And each of those will be 2 days a week. So, Mondays and Wednesdays. Just when we got back in, well, I was going to say just when we got back in the habit of doing stuff on Wednesday, but I don't think we've recorded on a Wednesday in months.
Yeah.
Or on a day that we intended to record on, which is freaking hilarious to me.
It's been a while.
But yeah, ever the growing understanding of how we do things.
Yeah.
But yeah, I pretty much that was all it was. It was school and yard stuff. That's all I've been up to lately.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and my computer getting it back to form again.
I haven't been up to a whole lot of anything, so
Feeling better at least? Relatively?
kinda. I'm out of the puking cycle, so still having about a headache a day, so I've had to up all my medicines. I'm up to 3 of my topiramate a day. I do that all this week and then all of next week, and then after that I go up to 2 a day, or up to 2 a day, up to 4 of those a day, twice a day. And then he'll switch me over to 100 milligrams of that, so
Gotcha.
we'll see how that goes. I don't know. Still having just like minor headaches.
Still no good.
Yeah.
But at least it's better than what it was. I mean, that's I guess good.
Yeah.
As long as it's in an upward trajectory, not a dropping trajectory, you're good.
Yeah.
But such is life, I guess. That's what happens when we get old.
Yep. What happens?
Shit go wonky. That's what happens.
Yeah. Sure do be how it is, huh?
Yeah, unfortunately, that seems to be it. Get older and you get chunkier and shit starts to break down, and we went from we were on top of the world to why does my back hurt for no reason?
I know a lot of the reasons why my back
Well,
hurts.
I do too.
It's mostly because I just beat the crap out of myself all the time. So.
No, I've got just under a decade of military service and terrible posture to blame. So I figured I'm giving my body the old 1-2 punch on that one.
Yeah.
But I got a wife who loves me, and I got kids. What more could I ask for?
Yep.
And that sounds clichéic, but kind of the way she goes, I guess.
Yeah.
Not a bad thing.
The way it goes. Yep.
Definitely not a bad thing. It looks like Threads is slowed down.
Yeah, they said they dropped down to 25 million daily users. But they did build in a following tab.
Yep.
They have a web version.
That was absolutely needed.
It isn't fully usable yet. You can because you can post to it, but you can't or you can't post to it. I guess you can just browse on it or whatever. I haven't really like super checked it out yet. So
Well, I haven't really checked much out either.
yeah. They did say that they're working on adding a handful of more standard features before they do any sort of marketing. So far they've done zero marketing. So they jumped to 100 million users, dropped to 25. And that was with zero marketing at all.
That's kind of insane.
Which I thought was kind of, yeah, I was like, that's fucking bonkers. Like, that happened because people wanted a place to hang out where that wasn't owned by Elon Musk. That was all they wanted. You know?
Yeah.
That was all they wanted. They wanted a place to hang out that wasn't owned by Elon Musk.
They wanted that. They also just, yeah. I mean, Musk, I thought Musk was doing a terrible job with Twitter until he decided to rebrand it to X. Then I realized he was a genius with the Twitter brand. Everything he's pulled off since then, man, it just, every time I think that it can't get worse, he figures out a way to fuck it up more.
Yeah,
It's at this point, it's
you
insanely
think it can't
impressive.
get worse, and then it does. So, I still have hopes for Threads because there's not much for features. You know, there's not much going on yet. It's just people talking into the void. And they're just having fun and enjoying what's there. So as there's more features added, you know, it's gonna be they're gonna build something, and it's gonna be good, and it's gonna be, you know, similar but different than what Twitter was, you know.
And going back over the Fediverse in itself,
yeah,
as I've gotten to figure out more and more and learn more and more, a lot of my earlier aversions to it, I'm kind of getting over. But I didn't think Mastodon was the answer for the initial introduction into the Fediverse for people. I think that was just because it got really weird of how people were reacting and going about it. I don't know.
well,
I honestly think that Threads is going to do more for the Fediverse than Mastodon did.
oh yeah, nobody disagrees with that. Like Mastodon is confusing because everybody looks at it and doesn't know what it is. You think of it as just one thing, and you look at it. What's Mastodon, Dave? Can you tell me what Mastodon is?
You mean other than the cliche, it's a client for the Fediverse?
Well,
because it's
have
sort of that. So the problem that Mastodon ran into was they build themselves as a Twitter alternative.
well,
And they shouldn't have.
They had the app. They had their client and their apps that were attached to the Fediverse, and then they also built servers that were part of the Fediverse.
Yeah.
And so people looked at them doing those two parts of the thing and immediately looked at that and saw those two combined things and said they're a Twitter alternative.
Yeah.
When that wasn't, they saw it as another walled garden when that wasn't what it was.
But trying to explain what it is a lot more. The problem with the Fediverse is that when you start diving into it and trying to explain it, it ends up sounding a lot like someone explaining blockchain to someone else.
Yeah.
And people's eyes just glass over really fast, and that's the end of it. The way that I explain it to people now is, imagine that Mastodon or the Fediverse is IRC, but all of the servers talk to each other. All the servers send messages back and forth with each other. So it's decentralized in that way, but it's centralized in the fact that everyone sends everything around. And usernames, one-word usernames, are going to be going away.
Yeah.
It's going to go back to kind of what it was back in the day, sort of.
It's going to be more similar to emails, where it's going to be
more similar to an email chain.
At opendarkqueen.com.
Like a mail list. Because everything feeds together.
Well, and it's going to end up being more than that, because you can do the Fediverse is more than just text, Dave. You're going to have your like micro blogging. You're going to have your like macro blogging sites, because like sites like WordPress have these abilities built in underneath them now. The company that owns WordPress also owns Tumblr. So they're working to build ActivityPub into Tumblr as well. So these image sites, there's also what's it called? PixelFed is another part of the Fediverse that feeds images, and it's like Instagram alternative, and it might and it'll be so you have like these image servers where you can have this image content. So you have microblogging, you have macro blogging, you have image content, and then you have FeedTube, I think is what it's called, which is it works like what YouTube and Vimeo does. So it hosts video content. So you have the Fediverse with video content, and you'll be able to connect. You'll be able to have your own set client. So you could be on Threads, and you'll be able to connect to the Fediverse, and you'll be able to follow creators on from different servers, and whether they're on a PixelFed type of server, you'll be able to follow those different types of things. And Threads might be able to open that up and say, hey, you can follow, they might be able to build their app into a multi-purpose kind of app and say you can follow microblogging, you can follow macro blogging, you could follow images, you could follow video content. Like they might be able to open that up and become this like all-purpose type of social media style
the
app.
idea. So the problem with, I think the hard part is people are used to accessing the internet through HTTP, which is what we all do now. And because we've been doing that for so long, that thinking about accessing the internet through other protocols has become foreign on a lot of people. Because those of us that are very early adopters understand that, you know, what you see when you open up a browser is only a fraction of what you can access. And Tor sort
Yeah.
of introduced that to some people, and the idea of a dark web introduced the concept to some people, but other people, it's still extraordinarily lost on them that, you know, other internet protocols or online protocols exist. And this is just an entire separate protocol layer, and you can feed in and out through HTTP, but you know, through a browser if you have the ability or someone designed something to do so. But that's not, we're talking about entering into another layer of protocols for all this, and so it's an entire protocol framework system that everyone so far is kind of agreed, all right, this is kind of what we should do.
That's why I'm throwing. That's why Activity Pub is the horse I'm betting on. I'm not gonna go with Blue Sky. Blue Sky created uh their own protocol and their own standards.
And I think that those could have been a standard, because Dorsey kind of knows what he's doing in building those. But I think he waited too long, and now he's a day late, a dollar short. And I don't think,
Yeah. Well,
even if it is superior, it's not. Too many people, too many large organizational entities that are starting to dip toes and feet into these waters aren't going to try to switch gears now. It's too late.
Activity Pub is part of the World Wide Web Consortium.
Yeah.
So it's one of their standards. So it's not going to go away. Like it's there. They'll add another standard. If he can talk them into it, they'll add the AT protocol, but it's unlikely that other people are going to change, because you've already got like Automatic and Meta on board. Like you've already got the BBC dipping their toes in. You've already got a lot of other companies like jumping in on Activity Pub because it's been around for over a decade. You know, making waves and creating this new style of social media network.
Yep.
It would have been better for him to just be like, "Hey,"
or if he would have been able to beat, right. I still think that if he were to be able to beat Mastodon to the punch, then
there's no way. They've been at it for a decade.
Yeah, I know. Well, Dorsey's been at it for fucking ever too.
Yeah, but he's been putting off making a federated protocol. And didn't do anything with it until Musk fucking fucked around and bought Twitter.
That's kind of my point, is that he fucked around too long and lost.
Yeah.
I seriously think that is 100% he lost because he fucked around way too long on it. He never should have done that.
I think Threads, if Threads connects, I think if Threads and Tumblr both get the Activity Pub connection, and then if there's any others that start throwing some weight behind it, they're going to start, that's going to put a hurt on both Blue Sky and
I can see
Twitter.
Google throwing weight behind it. I think they're waiting to see what happens.
Probably.
Honestly,
I probably. I would imagine if it were, 10 years ago, they would probably jump on it with YouTube, but with the way they're moving their movies into YouTube, I don't see it. I don't see it happening now.
no, they've messed with protocols even in YouTube internally before.
Yeah,
It's not outside of the realm of thought that they could change things up and it would be seamless from the YouTube app.
that's true. Because they could probably still monetize incoming traffic that's watched on YouTube.
Why wouldn't they be able to?
No, that's what I'm
All they
saying.
would
They
have to do
could.
instead of having skippable overlay ads, you just embed them directly at the beginning of videos.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, if that's the way they went, that would be much better for them to do.
Yeah.
As scary as that sound is.
I was thinking about Meta earlier today, and I was like, I wonder if this is. I was wondering if Threads was Meta's full on bet on keeping themselves alive. If they were looking at what has happened before and what's currently happening with social media, when's the last time you used MySpace, Dave?
It's been a while.
Yeah. There's been a lot of social media networks come and go over the years. And I'm sure Zuckerberg knows this. He's probably shut more than a few of them down himself. And he's probably thought many, many times, that's what the metaverse was supposed to be. He's probably looked at that. He threw billions of dollars at it or whatever, and it didn't work. And he probably looked at the Fediverse and probably went, how do we deal with this? How do we deal with this? And somebody went, why don't we just be a part of it? What if we're a part of it? What if we make a really fucking nice app that people want to use that we can put ads on, and we get it in soon. If we get it in soon, we get the user base up, but we also make it helpful for the Fediverse. Like we make it helpful, but we keep our user base and help the Fediverse grow. That way we don't, they won't lose all of their user base, but they might lose some. They can still keep their business. Even if like Facebook or Instagram goes away, they could convert full convert Instagram into a whole Fediverse model too. Like they could do that. Just convert that whole base into, an activity pub. Just make that all image based activity pub. Attach it and like boom, you have a whole secondary one. You got Threads, you got Facebook could crumble or whatever, because that I don't know if there's much there that would work good in the Fediverse, but Threads and Instagram both would. And then you have Shorts, Instagram Shorts or Reels. What's theirs called? Reels?
I think so.
Yeah. So they have the content. They could reconfigure what they have going on, become part of Web3 if they lose a little bit of their business, but they create part of the next generation of the internet to keep themselves alive rather than dying off like the old generations. Maybe this is their bid at staying alive, staying relevant. They're jumping ahead of. They're seeing a trend of things happening, and they're trying to jump ahead and help promote a trend instead of trying to kill it off like previous networks did. I don't know. That was just what I was thinking about earlier today.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking into looking more into it.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see how it all kind of goes on to it, and it's going to get interesting. It's definitely another change. I mean, we've been around long enough to see enough changes to the internet as we know it. So
Yeah. Yeah, you and I have seen a lot.
that we have. Probably too much. Oh, wonderful. Someone's at the front door.
Uh-oh. All right. Well, I guess we'll see you next week.
Yeah, I guess that's going to be the key to that. All right, yeah, we'll see you guys next week. Until then, later.